Hello and welcome to 10 in Tech IT Chronicles. We're here at Freshworks Conference Refresh 19 in Las Vegas. And today we have with us Sahra Santosha from Babylist. Welcome,
Hi.
Sahra. How are you?
Very happy to be here. I'm great. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. So you're going to be speaking here at the conference for Freshworks. I understand it's data qualitative analysis, data
Yes.
quality, which obviously is a huge area these days. So
Absolutely.
tell us a little bit about what is it, so for those that maybe aren't that familiar with it, and more specifically also about what your talk is about.
Absolutely. So the talk I'll be giving later today is called Creating Tagging Schemas to Make Friends and Influence People. And that's exactly what you can do if you put together your tagging schemas in really good, easily understandable ways. What I found in my career, and I've been working in support for a while, is that teams outside of support, pretty universally from company to company, don't fully understand the full depth and specificity of the insights that you can glean from all of these qualitative conversations that you're having with your customers, whether they're phone calls, emails, chat transcripts. And one of the best things that you can do to both build excitement around the insights that customer support has to offer, and also to really influence the direction of product and to gain the right resources for your team, is to put together a really comprehensive tagging schema that allows you to easily pull actionable reporting both for yourself and also have things structured in such a way that teams outside of your customer support team can also look for initial insights.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So now that you've been doing this reporting for a while and you seem to know a lot about it, what are some key areas that we're missing to get better insight on our customer support journey or more information on our customers? Is there anything you can share with us?
Absolutely. I know many different teams have many different ways of qualifying information, but I've found that it's really helpful to think about ways that you can really easily segment that information that makes sense to other people. So I'll be giving a lot more details about that in my talk, but I think what a lot of tagging schemas are missing are the ability to segment and slice really easily, and then the actual granularity of all the issues or comments or complaints or whatever else that come up in those conversations, so that you can look at things at a really granular level.
So when obviously organizations are doing this for a reason, right? Not just because there's a ton of data and just
Right, because data's cool.
Exactly. Well, it is for us.
Sure, yeah.
But so how does that translate from a customer experience perspective? You go through this effort, you do your reporting, you glean all this information, you have all this insight. Myself as a customer now, what difference does that make to me? How do I end up benefiting once you know that information about it?
Absolutely. There are a number of ways that customers benefit from effective reporting and being able to really influence product and feature direction. The first off is simply increasing usability. Through the efforts that I've put in reporting, like really making sure these tagging schemas are well thought out. At Babylist specifically, we've been able to reduce the relative support volume per customer across the product by 50%. This means it's much easier for people to use the product. Now, this could be bad if, in addition, there were simply fewer people and they weren't able to complete their workflows. But we've also seen a 100% increase in the number of people who have been able to complete the desired workflows in our product simply by focusing on the friction points that aren't necessarily visible in things like click data or funnel analytics.
Right.
Yeah. And I guess too is how would you use some of that data to quickly improve situations? So could you give me a scenario when you were going through this data, because there's data, of course, you had stored for a while, and then we're looking at, in-time data. How can you quickly turn around the insights from data and improve the customer experience?
Absolutely. So when I first started a company and I put together the right tagging systems and I start diving into the information, I'm generally looking for two things. So because I put together my data in such a way that I can funnel things down by customer or product type, and then also by customer journey stage, I'm really easily able to pull up issues that are both frequent, but then issues that are also honestly time sucks. So to find that right correlation between things that are high volume and also high handle time, one of the first things that you can do as a support leader is to understand what we need to do to improve internal processes, why are these things difficult, so that your first pass can be relatively internal and you have complete control over it. Once you have control over those things, then moving on to simply things that are high volume and tend to be associated with low CSAT, or are high volume and associated with critical workflows through the different customer stages, you can figure out in a much more nuanced way what the actual friction points are throughout the product. Other teams tend to have much more black and white metrics around, we understand that people make it to this point of the funnel and then drop. And we need to somehow get them from this point A to point B. As a customer support leader, if you do things right, you can give really insightful information on why it is that people potentially aren't making it all the way through. And that's the impact that you can make. So I provided this advice to every company that I've worked with to make the flow much more efficient. As I mentioned at Babylist, we were able to 100% increase the number of people who completely made it through one of our most important user flows, simply because we were able to identify some really non-intuitive friction points that as soon as we resolved them, it just took off.
So and I guess, I spend a lot of time, or I've spent a lot of time in configuration management, CMDB, and that sort of thing. And one of the difficulties, I think, when you get into sort of this data side of it, is quantifying the value.
Absolutely.
You know, because it's not a bottom line, hey, you're going to save, you know, X amount of dollars.
Right.
But as you point out, and one of the things that I always bring up is, if those queues are shorter now, you can handle more volume. And you haven't changed anything just because it's more efficient, more effective. So how do you see organizations trying to express that message? Because it's a hard sell sometimes.
It
when
can
it's
be.
not like, hey, you're going to save $1 million on your bottom line.
Right.
It's like, no, you're not going to save any money, but you're going to be able to process more with less people or whatever that is. So how do you see them communicating that story, I guess?
Sure, that's a really good question. I found that each company has a different way of communicating impact. I think it's good when you first come into a company, or if you've been there for a while and don't know this yet, really figuring this out for yourself. What language does your company speak? Companies tend to be driven either by marketing, by sales, or by product. And depending on which of those teams within your company tends to be the strongest driver of decisions, it's best to really think about how to frame your arguments in a language that they will see as really impactful. If you have a very sales-driven organization, you might want to frame things in terms of the amount of money that you're leaving on the table by not introducing certain fixes, the number of accounts that are losing or upsells that are lost. If you're a marketing-driven organization, you might want to think more about the efficiency of the onboarding funnel. If your company is very product-based, it's generally best to talk about things in terms of the size of user impact. So it really depends based on your company, but it's a really great strategy to really understand from the beginning, what language does your company speak?
Right. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. We've all seen that. It's, you know, as technicians or technical people, oh, we're just going to give it all to you.
Right. Do you see all the people that are hurting? How can this not move
and
you?
It doesn't register.
Right.
It doesn't register.
Right.
Well, you know, thank you so much for, I personally think, I know Kathleen as well, you know, we see this every day, you see it every day, and I don't think organizations necessarily truly understand what's missing, what opportunities are not being, you know, taken advantage of. So, you know, wish you the best in your speech today.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully we'll see you again, and hopefully we'll actually start making a difference and see the industry switching a little bit more. So,
That'd be wonderful.
Thank you
so
for joining us.
much. This was
Thank you.
fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.